Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacconiana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we have a vintage MILFEUX Petrol lighter. This is a very basic design for a lighter that I think today most people would probably call, or maybe I should say, I see them listed on eBay as trench lighters. I'm not sure that that is a proper designation. It is a basic design, but seems to work pretty well, and also has a pretty good ornamentation on it. I can't find a whole lot of information about it. I looked on all the major sites, Toledo Bend VCL site, My Lighter, Volker Putz site, Lighter Library, Vintage Lighter Book. I looked at all of them and none of them had this one. So I don't know a lot of information about it, but we'll take a look at it and see how it all comes together. This lighter does show plating loss, tarnish, corrosion, brassing. You can see the brass underneath there. More so on that side of the lid than on this. I don't see any markings on the outside of the lighter indicating who manufactured it or made it. It does show dings, dents, scratches, scuffs. The wadding and wick were really contaminated and the wick was just falling apart. So I replaced it with a Zippo wick. As you can see, it's charring there on top. I don't know if that's from too much fuel. Most likely. Anyway, and I used the organic cotton coil to re-wad it. You can see the end of the wick there. The flint tube. I can't remember whether it was clear when I got it or not. Now I used my wire here to scrape it out. It had a flint that had degraded in it, but it wasn't in there real solid. So you can see that design. It sort of reminds me of sort of an Egyptian theme that you might have seen with the all-seeing eye in the middle of it. Or maybe it's a starburst or sunburst of some kind. But I don't believe it is engraved. It is cast into that because you can see it on the back side. Anyway, I think this lighter is more akin, rather than a trench lighter, to say the park lighter that had a removable top before they went to the flip top style. So maybe from the 30s, 40s, maybe 20s, 30s, somewhere along in there. I'm not sure. I believe from the name that this lighter is or was manufactured in France. And seem to have some corroboration with that from other eBay listings, but you never know about the information coming from an eBay listing. The name looks French, but I also was kind of under the impression that French petrol lighters were going to have a tax stamp on them. So I don't know. Maybe these came along after that. So it is a very attractive lighter with a cool design there on both sides. And while it may take both hands to operate, it does function fairly well. We got some work to do there. It may be overfueled or underfueled. These kind of lighters always throw me off a little bit, because if you were getting ready to light something up with one of these and you got to talking and you took the lid off of it, and then you sit there and conversate for a few minutes, and then you decide to strike the lighter, well, there's a good chance at that point that the wick's going to be dried out. So you got to be careful. It's kind of like leaving the lid off of a pen. You can definitely dry it out of its liquid components. I think since that is charring so bad though, I will go ahead and pull this up just a bit and snip it off. And now that I have that charred part off there, I'm going to go ahead and bloom that wick out and see if that helps it light better. A lot of times it will. I don't know, this design seems like it may just be kind of prone to drying out. Would be a pretty cool lighter to have if you could trust it, fuel it up, leave it in your pocket for at least a day or two without it drying out. So anyway, we'll see here in a moment how it wants to light now that we've manicured that wick. You can see that it does have the plating missing in several or a few places. And as I said earlier, the one side seems to look a little better than the other. You know, the brass number 5, those are hard to see. I see those on eBay listed all the time as unmarked when they're really marked on the ends here. But it appears that the only way, or the only place that this particular lighter is marked is there on the insert, as I contribute to drying out that wick again. This is the first of these. I've had lipstick lighters, all kinds of lighters that you pull the top off of. Basically, it's just like a flip top petrol lighter, only you gotta keep control or keep track of the lid yourself. So I don't know, maybe it's just not that reliable lighting or igniting lighter. And that wick is charring a little bit again there, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll mess with it a little bit longer. Maybe when I get a lighter that doesn't want to light reliably or burn the way that it should, then I usually set it aside and come back to it later. So that's likely what will happen with this one. You never know though, it could just show up in a lot of other lighters that I'm going to sell as a group, or maybe one of the charity auctions, but I won't put it in one of the charity auctions for HDSA unless it's lighting reliably. All the lighters that I list on their own like that, that's all you need to do. Add fuel and they will work. Apparently not this one though. Until next time.